Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. Welcome back to the show, Mark.
Glad to be back. Thank you, Jim.
Mark, do we have a special offer for our listeners?
Yes, at VRTrader.com, you can get 50% off of any of our newsletters, including our newer blockchain letter covering the crypto market, and our Canada letter, and our gold medal resource letter, and our trading ace letter, and our platinum letter, and all these good letters. If you enter the promo code 2021 half off, so I'm giving you guys 50% off, 2021 half off. So when you sign in, it could be for any length of time or any or all of the subscriptions. So VRTrader.com, and in the promo code slot in the order form, 2021 half off.
Mark, the NASDAQ seems to be taking it on the chin lately. What's the news there?
You got me. Technically, it just got overdone and has been topped out a while back, and it's been a negative divergence with regard to the other indices. It's really interesting. You know, some of the high-flying sectors like solar, even the electric vehicle sector, including big names like Tesla, have been diverging negatively here for several weeks. And it seems like the crowd has decided, the money management crowd, that they want to be in, blue chip, more stable stocks, not high growth stocks or more higher dividend paying stocks or whatever that rationale is. So I don't make those fundamental decisions. I sort of just follow the tracks in the sand, and it's not good when these markets diverge. I mean, there have been many, many big market corrections that have been preceded by negative divergence with the high-tech names. So if this is a early warning, perhaps, then we have some concern. Now, I have concern anyway, Jim. I mean, I'm in the sell away category. I know the market was up trading today, Thursday. It was down a little bit yesterday, and it's been sort of choppy here. But, my stuff is, we trade, but I'm not too happy about the market here from now until year end. I mean, honestly, I just think it's got problems. Whether we're going to see some significant event out there, we could talk about all kinds of possibilities in a moment, but market from a cyclical point of view and the way I'm looking at it, forget the divergence with the NASDAQ name. That could be part and parcel to it. You've got the fox watching the chickens in Washington, D.C., mentally ill, disturbed Democrats who decide that higher taxes are good for the economy and business. And, rumors and talk about up to 40%, capital gains taxes and that kind of nonsense. That's one way to create a bear market, in my opinion. So, and that's just one of many crazy things they're attempting to do. So we have insanity ruling in Washington right now. The markets, maybe the markets are insane too, and they want to go up regardless. But to me, that's a big concern. But I'm in the sell may go away mode, and we'll go from there.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, what kind of plays do you see taking place in the cryptocurrency market?
Real excited about the cryptos, very volatile. it's that kind of thing that we have a blockchain letter, and we cover that, and I encourage all the listeners, if they don't follow the blockchain crypto world, at least consider our letter, which is real short each week and sort of summarizes what's going on out there. But, basically, as we all know, we have a new layer of technological advancement happening, and it's blockchain. And what's so good about it is that, blockchain means that everything is recorded and verifiable on a digital record. So it's really a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. So this is really a breakthrough. We can talk about all kinds of ways that it can improve stuff, but everything from stock trading to checks and payroll and credit transactions. And, along the way, we have many fluid investors and companies like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and Bank of America, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. They're all, getting into it. And it's really funny when you read a lot of the press about it. We talk about a couple hot cryptos out there, like the Dogecoin, which many have referred to as the doggy coin. Pictures of the dog flying around. I put that in my newsletter every day because he's so cute. And they talk about the XRP, and we have names like Elon Musk accepting Bitcoin, for a car, and you've got him also talking about the Dogecoin as a way of as a transactional medium. There's some rumors that Amazon may accept the Dogecoin. So the two coins that are out there. I mean, there's so many, and what I personally like, the XRP and the Dogecoin. And own them myself. They're not actually recommendations in the main trading letter. They're referred to in our blockchain letter. But bottom line is, I think we're early in the stage of this stuff. And when I hear, I go to private events, and I have attended a few in the last few days of my travels. I've been on the road here a little bit, and you mentioned the currencies, these cryptos. And the first thing they say, they're a bunch of crap. They're phony. They're not going to last. The government's going to legislate against them. Total BS. Don't even think about them. And even in the press, if you read the financial press, there's still a ton of skepticism, as there was for Bitcoin from the very beginning. Particularly, was it a year and a half ago when Bitcoin was down there, a couple, $3,000, and they thought it was going to go to zero, and then, as you know, it went to 60,000, and some feel that it might be 100 to 500,000 or more. So the fact is, it's the old, climbing the wall of worry, disbelief about it, and you got to be in the right ones. And there's so many out there, and obviously you could lose money in them. But my gut feeling and looking at the way they're trading, I think you could see some of these things dramatically higher. I mean, the Dogecoin, which I think is around 50 or 60 cents, it was got to be a couple pennies within the last few weeks. I mean, it's really taken off. I mean, this thing could be, $5 or $10. And XRP, which some are talking about as being a replacement for currency, even the government possibly getting involved in it. There was discussion that this thing could be $1,000 or more. And, you're looking at something that's $1.50 now. I mean, these are all possibilities, these are all speculations, but it could be the really beginning of the way people do business. And a lot of it is the distrust of government, the higher taxes, and some people say, well, they'll just shut the internet down and put these guys out of business. Well, I don't think that's going to happen so fast. So the bottom line is, the returns that one could see potentially, it's like gold. They used to say you got to keep 3 to 5% of your portfolio in gold, and that's probably still a good recommendation. I would say the same thing applies to the cryptos, because these little babies could end up generating returns and have already. In the ones that I'm just referring to now, some are up 300 to 1,000% in the last several weeks. You can end up seeing tremendous complementary returns in the years ahead here. So you got to really pay attention to them. You can't dismiss them. Got to do your homework a little bit. We try to guide you a little bit in the blockchain letter which things are moving. But I think for the bottom line is you got to be in the sector, just like you had to own some cannabis stocks when they're moving, or gold when it's moving, or solar stocks when they're moving, or infrastructure stocks when they're moving, and base metal stocks as they are now when they're moving, because there's reasons why these are all moving. So this is an area of a lot of interest for me.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Let's go to the most traditional store of wealth, gold. Is anything going on there?
Yeah, it popped up a little bit today. It's well off its highs from last year. My work was, bearish on it for a while, saying that, at the beginning of the year I said you might see 1,500 before you see 3,000. Got to 1,660 or 1,675, and now we're starting to flirt with the low 1,800s again. Each dog has its day, and my work hasn't been real excited about this year, but it did indicate that seasonally, by summer, perhaps we could hit some type of low, and we are approaching summer now, so maybe the seasonal tendencies will sort of kick in, and if they do in a big way, then we could see, relative strength between now and the first quarter of next year. I think a lot of money and speculative money has gone into the cryptocurrencies away from gold, and I think that's held it back here quite a bit. So many say, just backing up to my previous segment with regard to crypto, they say, well, there's no value, there's nothing backing these things, they're worthless entities. You could say the same thing about the Canadian dollar or the U.S. dollar. I mean, what's backing that other than the full faith and credit of the government, who, in our case here in the U.S., is basically bankrupt anyway. So, what's behind anything? So people like gold because, for 5,000 years it's maintained a semblance of value. And as we joked in previous interviews about mining gold on asteroids and other places, the supply for gold eventually, could change, and it may not be as rare as it is now. So that's always a possibility, or new undiscovered resources could be, revealed at some point. So you can't fall in love with anything. And my experience with gold in the last 30 years is you have to trade it. And, it just goes up and down like any other commodity. And, you want to keep a few coins in the vault in case you got to cross the border one day and they confiscate everything from you, and you got some diamonds and gold in your pocket, as many Jews had to do leaving Nazi Germany, decades ago. And if that's the scenario, then maybe it makes some sense. But to me, it's just like anything else. You trade them, and they're going to blow off, as they have already. We saw in 2011 gold and silver blowing off and then going nowhere for several years. So maybe we'll start another run here, but don't think that this is the answer to your investment future any more than any other of the other sectors that I referred to.
Mark, I know you like to bring up cosmic, geocosmic events. Anything happening on that front?
Well, one interesting thing today was China launched its, they call it Tianhe 1 module, which is a space station for China. And apparently it's one of several pieces that's going to be up there floating around. And, that says something. Last I read, part of it is flying right over the middle part of the United States. And this is going to be living quarters for 3 people. And, they got aspirations just like, other countries, and getting on the moon and setting up a base and doing all that other good stuff. So watching the Chinese space station is going to be, I think, quite interesting from not only from a political point of view, but from a, defense and, geocosmic point of view too. So that's something you got to watch. Also, an interesting article here today came out. Ex-U.S. Senator Harry Reid, we all remember him from the Obama administration. He came out and made a statement that he believes Lockheed Martin had UFO fragments stored with them, and apparently they were doing some experiments with these these pieces from UFOs that apparently had crashed. And basically, this had been under wraps, as you and I both know, for decades with the Roswell incident back in 1947 forward. So I think, there are a lot that, we talk about this stuff and people say, oh, God, he's talking about a UFO again. I mean, I have to tell listeners to this show that this is as real as the cryptos are real, or as gold is real, or as the stock market is real. It's been under wraps for decades, and the Pentagon and other governments, not only the U.S., are doing, secret work with either fragments or recovered craft. And my belief has been for a long time, and this is decades of research into this area, this is no conspiracy theory, this is no science fiction, that a lot of the advancements we've seen in technology have come from reverse engineering some of the pieces that have fallen from the sky. So it's out there, a lot of credible sources, and this is one of dozens that I could cite for you given time. But anyway, real interesting, and I think that's something you got to pay attention to.
Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us.
My pleasure. Talk to you next week, Jim. Thanks for having me.
My guest has been Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. He was speaking to us from the East Coast. Normally he reports from Arizona. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.